Hey guys, Dr. Brown here with Kubo Math coming to you from Tarlac City, Philippines. And tonight we're in Algebra 2 and we're looking at solving, equations with some radicals. These will be a little bit different twist actually, and this will be the last video. So we've gone through adding and subtracting radicals. We've gone through multiplying, dividing. Now we've got just some equations we're trying to solve for x in the equations, but they have radicals in the equation. So what do we do with radicals? Hey, try to get rid of them. That's the key. All right. So like this guy right here. Let me scoot my cable over. All right. So just like this equation. If you know we have 2x minus 3 and that square root sign, it's really to the nth power is 2. So it's 2x minus 3 raised to the 1/2 power, and that equals 5. Well, if I square both sides, so if I were to take this and square it, and this and square it, remember the rule here. We had a to the m, just like here, a to the, all of this is a raised to the m, and we're going to raise it to the n. Well, that equals a to the m times n. So if I raise this 1/2 power and I square it, I'm really saying a to the 1/2 power, a to the 1/2 raised to the 2nd power, and that's a to the 1/2 times 2 over 1. Well, that's a to the 1, or just a, which is exactly what's going to happen here. When I take that and square it, I'm raising it to the 2nd power, multiplying that to the 1/2. So it's now 2x minus 3 to the 1st power, or just 2x minus 3, and that equals 25. So 5 squared is 25. So now I can add 3 to both sides. So negative 3 plus 3, that cancels. 2x equals 28. 25 plus 3 is 28. Divide both sides by 2. 2's cancel or become 1. So 1 times x is x. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Okay, so I have, let's go back, check ourselves. 2 times 14 is 28. 28 minus 3 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5, and that equals 5. Wow. Well, we have one if we don't get any more. All right, let's take a look at this one right up here. We have 4 plus the square root of 1 minus 3x equals 12. And we have x underneath here, as you'll see. Let's get rid of the 4. So if I said 4 minus 4 plus square root of 1 minus 3x, and that equals 12 minus 4. So I've subtracted 4 from both sides. These cancel. It leaves me with a square root of 1 minus 3x equals 12 minus 4, which is 8. Now if I square, same concept. This is all to the 1/2, remember? If I square that, square this, this becomes 1/2 raised to the 2nd power. So it just becomes 1. So 1 minus 3x equals 64. Well, 1 minus 3x plus 3x, I'm going to add 3x to both sides to get rid of that negative. And then I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides. So 64 minus 64 leaves me 3x. Negative 3x plus 3x, those cancel. 1 minus 64 is negative 63. Okay, so if I divide both sides by 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. So x equals negative 21. So negative 63 divided by 3, negative 21. Well, that seems like a weird number. Let's plug that back in and see what happens here. We had 4 plus square root of 1 minus 3x. Of course, our x is now negative 21. And that's supposed to equal 12. Okay? Or in our case, well, let's just leave it alone. I started to say move that over there and make it 8. Move the 4 out. All right, so 3 times negative 21 gives me that negative 63. So now I have 4 plus 1 minus a negative 63 minus a negative plus a positive. It's supposed to equal 12. So that ends up being the square root of 64, right? So 4 plus square root of 64. Okay, square root of 64 is 8. So 4 plus 8 does in fact equal 12. So x equals negative 21 was in fact the correct solution. It always pays to go back and check yourself if you have time. I know when we're on a test in the classroom sometimes maybe we don't have time. I had a test one time where this was in a power class. I was in the electrical engineering technology course and taking heavy like power for power companies, and I didn't finish the test, and I just wrote down on the one I didn't complete. I said, oh, no time. And the teacher said, oh, no points either. All right, so now this one we have the cube root of 4 minus 2x equals negative 2. The cube root, so this thing is 4 minus 2x to the 1/3 power equals negative 2. So in this case, I need to raise this to the 3rd power on both sides. So same as before. Now I have a to the 1/3 cubed. So that is a to the 1/3 times 3 over 1. And that gives me a to the 1, or just a. So in this case, it just gives me 4 minus 2x. So these all cancel out. 4 minus 2x equals negative 2 cubed. So I have negative 2 times negative 2. That equals a positive 4. Negative times negative is positive. But then that's times negative 2. Positive 4 times negative 2 gives me a negative 8. So anytime you have an odd number of times you're multiplying something together, if you have a negative there, you keep the negative because it ends up there. If it's even, then the negatives, negative times negative, they go away. But when it's odd number, it stays there. Okay, what can we do here? So we have 4 minus 2x plus 2x. So negative 8 plus 2x. These cancel, so that gives me 4. Well, I'll tell you what, before I do that, let me just add 8 to both sides also. So negative 8, positive 8 cancel. I end up with the 2x. And this 2x cancel. So 4 plus 8 is 12. Divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. All right, so let's go back and check ourselves here. 2 times 6 is 12. Uh-oh. 2 times 6 is 12. I think it's going to be a little easier if I work this right here. So if I put my 6 in here, 2 times 6 is 12. 4 minus 12 is a negative 8. So we can see that works out. It might be a little bit confusing with that under the radical there. Okay, so that one worked out. Hopefully everybody's been studying. Best way to be able to do these is do them. All right, last one. This one has a few different tools we're going to need to use to solve this one. X equals 1 plus the square root of 15 minus 7x. Oh, we have an x on both sides, and one of them's under the radical. Well, there's several ways you can do this. For me personally, I would just subtract 1 from both sides. So I have x minus 1 equals 1 minus 1 plus square root of 15 minus 7x. So these ones would cancel. I would have x minus 1 equals square root of 15 minus 7x. I then would square both sides. Same as before, if we square this, because it's to the 1/2 power, we square that, the radical sign goes away. We end up with 15 minus 7x. This one, we can FOIL this. First times first gives us x squared. Outer times outer, negative 1x plus negative 1x, excuse me, gives me negative 2x. A negative 1 times negative 1, excuse me, gives me a positive 1. Okay, so x squared, x minus 1 squared gives me x squared minus 2x plus 1, but that equals 15 minus 7x. Oh, wow. Let me add 7x to both sides. So I have now x squared, a negative 2x plus a positive 7x gives me a positive 5x plus 1, and that equals 15. Now let me subtract 15 from both sides. So now I have 0, so x squared plus 5x, 1 minus 15 gives me a negative 14. So x squared plus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Hey, when in doubt, do what? Factor. All right, let's see what we can do with this. Well, x times x gives me x squared. What numbers can I factor 14 into that gives me a positive 5? So negative 14, we know that's 7 times 2, but it would have to be a positive 7 and a negative 2. So let's work with that for a moment. Positive 7 times x gives me a positive 7x. Negative 2 times x gives me a negative 2x. Add those together. Positive 7x minus 2x is a positive 5x. X times x is x squared. Negative 2 times positive 7 is negative 14. All right, so what do we have? We have x plus 7. And then we have x minus 2 equals 0. So x would have to be negative 7, or x could equal 2. All right, let's see how that works out for us. All right, I'm going to, well, I'll just work over here, I guess. All right, so we had x minus 1, or x equals 1 plus square root of 15 minus 7x. All right, let's let x equal 2. So we would have 2 equals 1 plus square root of 15 minus 7 times 2. So that would be 2 equals 1 plus the square root of 15 minus 14 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. So I'd have 2 equals 1 plus 1. Okay, so that works out. Now then, let's let x equal 7. Okay, so let's go back here. A negative 7, sorry. X equals negative 7. So let's plug a negative 7 in here. So now we have 15 minus a negative 49. 15 plus 49. So that is square root of 64. So this is -7, -7, -7. All right, square root of 64 is 8. So 1 plus 8 does not equal -7. So x equals -7 is not a solution for this problem. Okay, so x equals 2. All right, this is just a brief overview of solving some of these equations that have radicals in them. Practice, guys, practice. You may get tired of me saying that. Why are we doing this, though? Hey, together we're trying to build a better tomorrow and do that through math. Keep studying, keep working as many problems as you can. That's all for now, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.